Hi everyone, it's Coach Janice, and I am here to talk to you about how to do a do-it-yourself marathon. And this is coming up a lot because a lot of my runners and my friends are getting ready to do their own London Marathon. I just did my own Boston Marathon on Monday this week. I have a lot of runners that I'm coaching to do the Chicago Marathon. And so I just want to share like what I've done to have fun on my run in my do-it-yourself races. And so the good thing there's a lot of good things about a do-it-yourself race. One of the things is that you become the race director. What that means is you get to determine what time the race starts. So there'll be none of this, get bussed to the start and wait some more. You can start whenever you want. Like to me, sitting in a star corral reminds me of going to the gym and then having to wait to get on a treadmill and wait. So yes, you can start whatever time you want. And the other thing about being your own race director is you get to determine like what the course hydration and nutrition is going to be, and also what the course is going to look like. And for me, I'm all about pancake flat, no heartbreak hills. Yeah, so let's go back to setting out your course. One thing I recommend is that you run on a loop. And the reason I say that is that when you do a loop, that way you'll have access to, if your house or your car or even a convenience store is on that loop, you'll have access to that. So that is your pop-up aid station. And even better, if you have to go to the restroom, you'll have access to either your own bathroom or the bathroom at the convenience store, and you won't have to use a porta potty. The other thing about doing a loop course is that you can share it with your friends and family, and that way they can pop in as much as they can while you're doing your race. And even better, at most races, we're not allowed to have somebody pace us unless there's dedicated pacers from the race. So in your do-it-yourself race, you can have your friends or family jump into the course and run with you. And what I recommend, if you're doing those loops is, in the early part of our race, we're fresh, we're springy, this is great. Well, in the latter loops, that's when you can have your friends and family jump in and help you and pace you, and you never know, you might turn them into a racer too. Okay, so I talked about picking the course. Let's talk a little bit more about the aid station. In addition to having your hydration and nutrition of choice, it's also good to have it stocked with like Kleenex and Band-Aids and sunscreen, and even I use BioFreeze a lot to help with when my muscles are angry at me, but I actually put it on before I need it. And then another thing, like if it's super hot on race day, you can have frozen water bottles in a cooler and then grab those when you run. And then the other thing that I recommend is to make sure that you have some variety at your aid station. Like when I did my Boston Marathon on Monday, at a certain point, I just can't take the powdered drink anymore, and so I had a donut, and it's okay. Again, I didn't know if it was going to work, and it worked just fine. So that's the beauty of doing your own do-it-yourself race, is there's less pressure on your time, and all the more reason to try out new nutrition or new gear. Like when I did Comrades, I ran with a hydration vest that I had never used. New pacing strategy. I forgot there was another thing I was going to say about the nutrition to test out. Oh, so if you do run with a hydration vest or a hydration belt at your pop-up aid station, you can have extra bottles already ready to go, so that way when you approach your aid station, you can just swap out your empties and pop in the fully locked and loaded bottles. So that'll save you a little more time, so you can spend more time taking selfies with your cheer squad. Okay, so aid station covered, route is covered. Okay, and let's get to the start line. You know, this is our discretionary free time, right? So we also should be having fun. We know the race is going to hurt in the end, but like at the start line, you can even get your friends and family involved. Like someone can be the photographer through the start and the race and the finish. Someone can be the announcer, like get them a whistle or get them a megaphone and dun, 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 dun. And time for the first annual, we hope only first annual do-it-yourself Denise's race. And even like draw out a start line, use chalk and draw out a start line. Like with the Boston Marathon, they emailed us all a PDF of the start and the finish line, and a lot of people had that printed out, and it was really cool. And you can also figure out, you get to be the DJ. What do you want to hear before the megaphone or the whistle goes off? Do you want to hear Bruce Springsteen, Born to Run? It's your call. Have fun. Okay. And another thing to think about, like with setting up your do-it-yourself race is, there's strength in numbers, right? So if you know someone else who's doing the same race as you, even if you're not in the same town, do it virtually and set up a Zoom call or a FaceTime chat like a couple minutes before your official start time and check in with each other and, virtually high five each other. And then, maybe keep that FaceTime going throughout your whole race, and then, or the Zoom going the whole race. And then your running mate, you guys can agree to check in on every half hour or every hour, and that will really help when you hit your wall, because I don't know many people that haven't hit a wall during the race. So it's great to have that running mate. And even better, if you're a many timer and you're about to do your do-it-yourself, like, I don't know, 10th Chicago or 15th London, maybe find a first timer in your circle who's doing their first marathon. And match up with them. And I'm telling you, I have done so many races with my first timers, whether it was their first 5K or their first 50 miler or even their first 100 miler, and I get just as much out of helping somebody do something that they didn't think they could do as if I had set my own PR. Yeah, so mix it up. And again, I can't it's like I can't explain that feeling until you go through it. And the other thing, like, I should have started this video off with, I think I've done maybe 5 or 6 do-it-yourself marathons, ultras since April. And what I've learned is that it's just like race day, in that we go through that emotional roller coaster, right? In that, you're in the start, this is exciting, this is gonna be fun, I don't know what's gonna happen, when will I hit the wall, I hope my stomach, so all those like unknowns, but there's so much excitement around it. And then you start and you're feeling great and the miles are going by like this, and then you hit the halfway point and you look at your watch and like, okay, I just double it, I'm doing great, I maybe add 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and then you get to in the marathon, you get to mile 17 or 18 and you're like, why are the miles not going by as fast? And then if you're like me, I get to, mile 22 or so, and I turn into Linda Blair from The Exorcist, and I'm like, I'm never doing this again. This hurts so bad. Why did I say I would do this? But then, dun, 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 I cross the finish line, even though it's not a chip mat, and I'm telling you, you feel even more accomplished than if you had all that pomp and circumstance. Now, I won't lie, I just did my 118th marathon because I was able to find one in Michigan that took place. It was chip mat to chip mat, but I'm telling you, it's like the parade of all the spectators cheering for you, and even like waiting in the corral with other runners that, sacrifice so much time and commit to themselves that they're going to do something that not everyone does. And then, crossing the chip mat, prior to that in the wall, like going to battle with yourself and winning that battle, like that, it's still there, even though it's just a one-man parade instead of like a huge parade, you know, with everyone on the course with you and everyone along the course cheering for you. You get an even deeper, richer sense of accomplishment. And that's why the do-it-yourself races are so great, because you know, the medals are nice, but we don't remember those down the road so much. We remember the experience we had that day of the race, from not even just the race, but from when we submit and commit to ourselves. So I'm just gonna leave it there, but I do want, like, I haven't even met all of you yet, but I just want to say that I'm so proud of you, because it takes a lot to not just train in this anything but normal time, but to stay committed to your race goal and carry it through. And if you think about it, in a marathon, they say that 1% of the population does a marathon. Well, in this crazy time, I would say that percentage is about 0.0001%. So you are part of an elite population. And then when you look back on this time, like 5 or 10 years down the road, you can look back and say that, F a duck, I did a marathon, or I did a half marathon, and it was just me, myself, and I. So I'm proud of you. Go get them and have fun.